Welcome to my review of Taiga, the Intamin Blitz Coaster at Linnanmäki. During my recent trip to Finland, where I traveled through the southern area of the country, I visited the country's three main theme parks. My favorite of the three was Linnanmäki, located close to the center of Helsinki. The park is home to the fantastic multi-launch coaster Taiga, which I got to ride a total of 12 times. But as always, let's take a look at the stats first. Taiga opened in 2019 as the tallest and fastest roller coaster in Finland, with a height of 52 meters and a top speed of 106 kilometers an hour. But while it has a theoretical height of 52 meters, the biggest single elevation change is just 32 meters, because Taiga is a terrain coaster. The coaster has a track length of 1,104 meters, and the layout features two LSM launches as well as 4 inversions. Taiga has two next-generation Intamin trains, which are pretty much the same as on Kärnan or Pantheon. Each train has space for 16 riders, so the capacity of the ride can be quite good when the operations are fast enough. Presentation-wise, Taiga doesn't have too much theming, but the light blue track together with the vibrant orange trains make for a great appearance. When exiting the ride, there's a massive window in the shop that provides stunning views of almost the entire layout. On top of that, Taiga has one of the best soundtracks of any theme park attraction, although you can only hear it in the station. So while there isn't really a story, Taiga is a well-presented attraction. But let's take a look at the layout now, because Taiga has a brilliant one. Though, I need to mention that the ride delivers a vastly different experience depending on where you sit. I personally prefer the front row, as the views that the ride offers are the best here, and the forces of some elements are a tad stronger here as well. However, the back row delivers a slightly more consistent experience, so it comes down to preference. After boarding the train and pulling down the comfy lap bar, the train slowly rolls out of the station onto the first launch. But instead of coming to a halt, the train gets immediately launched forward after it left the station. This is quite a snappy launch, and it reminded me of the first launch on Kärnan, even though that one is a tad punchier. After the launch, the train flies up into the first inversion, the 0G winder. The shaping of this element is a little different from other roads like this, but that makes this one better than most. In the front of the train, you get what I like to call ejector hang time, as you get shot into the lap bar while inverting. Once you are hanging upside down, you kind of fall forwards into the side, which actually is a bit scary. In the back row, you still get good hang time, but this element is far better in the front row. After this inversion, the train blasts through a turn to the right, leading down the hillside. This turn offers some nice positive G's as well as a good feeling of speed. The train then flies up the hillside again, where it maneuvers through an S-bend, which doesn't really offer any forces, but it brings the train to the second launch, where the actual ride begins. The second launch isn't as intense as the first one, but it still pushes you into the seat a good bit. Then follows the ride's top hat, which offers some stunning views of Helsinki if you look to the left. There is a weak pop of ejector airtime in the front of the train here, but a drop down the top hat does launch you out of your seat in the back row, so this element is far better in the back of the train. After a decently forceful valley, the train glides through a 0G stall, which provides some great high-speed hang time. When exiting the stall, the train flies down the hillside again, where it rushes over a small bunny hop, which offers a very strong pop of ejector airtime. This is the point where the ride reaches its top speed of 106 km an hour. Despite all of that speed, the following Immelmann isn't that forceful, but it's a fun element nonetheless. After this inversion, the train flies over a small twisted hill, which feels very out of control, as it launches you out of your seat quite hard while also throwing you to the side. This also marks the start of the last section of the ride, which is a good bit more aggressive than the first few elements. After a powerful upwards turn, the train glides through an elevated S-bend, which isn't intense, but it feels quite speedy. The drop after this S-bend is very powerful though, and the difference in strength between front and back row is surprisingly small here. As the train drops down the hillside once more, it still has quite some speed left, so the following half-twisted hill does offer a good mix of strong floater airtime and very good whip, especially in the front row. The final element is the ride's hardline roll, which provides one last bit of super fun hang time before the train hits the final brake run. That sums up the layout of Taiga. This ride is fantastic. It offers all kinds of forces at different strengths, so it doesn't feel repetitive at all. It also is glass smooth, which is important for a ride like this. The open restraints help this ride a lot, because it is graceful yet aggressive. Usually, rides like this don't always satisfy me that much, as I tend to prefer when rides sacrifice variation for stronger forces, but Taiga does it just right. It is what Taron should have been, as it has really good pacing together with an actually good amount of strong elements. There also are hardly any dead spots and no pointless trims at any point. So yeah, because of all those really good elements and a surprisingly aggressive finality, Taiga made it into my top 10. For a final score, Taiga gets a 10 out of 10. It's a super fun ride with a lot to offer, and it gets better with each ride. And that was my review of Taiga. What are your thoughts on this ride? And what is your favorite launch coaster? Thanks for watching. Bye.